Ní bhhain náir dian wadarang actanuk, Macburian wadarang bagaruk, Monomaith mirabea, Nilinga wadarang bake, Karangarabo bunjo the ego, Wa the crow, Kimbani ba Dian Gilson. Welcome to Wadarang Country.
Live from Wadarang Country, welcome to Lance TV. Coming to you from the palatial New Camp Street Studios in Ballarat, get ready to laugh, think, love and sparkle. And now, it's time to turn that camp dial all the way up to fabulous. Here's your host, the multi-award-winning Lance-tastic, Lance de Boyle.
All about me, and you, coming to you live from Wadarang Country here in Ballarat, the resting place of Bunjuli Eagle. That's right, you are watching Let's TV. Who would have thought tonight would have happened the way it has? To everyone at Channel 31, thank you so very much for whatever you've done at that end. I am of the understanding that there will be no ad breaks from Channel 31's end this evening for the next hour, but we have our own ads, so we'll play those. No, that's what happens in live television. Pull up a drink, get yourself your coldest chair, and let's sit down together. Wow, look at this. I'm liking this. Ooh. Welcome to the show. It's another Friday night. I'm with you, you're with me, all of that stuff. What I would like to start the show with, because you know I like to have a bellyache at the top of the show, this afternoon Facebook went awry with Olympic Games news, particularly with the women's boxing. Oh, people, can you just fact check yourself before you go blurting rubbish all over the place? I tell you, it's just crazy right-wing propaganda designed to make people feel triggered and traumatised, and it does a really good job, and they know that. Look, when it comes to people who are cisgendered in the Olympic Games, or even if they're intersex at the Olympic Games, people are not there for their sexuality and their gender, they're there for the sport. If you are going to show interest in the Olympic Games, might I suggest you do the same, or just turn your TV off. You know, it was awry. There were even people who I dearly love and respect who were posting things from Fox News going, but this, and I'm having to sort of like have this Facebook chat with them going, what are you talking about? It's Fox News. And secondly, it was that, what's his name, that boxer fella, Paul. No, it was the American guy who's going to take on Tyson. He was sprouting off about it. It's like, are you really going to believe, Logan Paul, are you really going to believe these nitwits who are really, friends of Trump, for starters, really double check it. You won't miss a thing on Facebook if you decide to sort of Google and not research, but just find out for yourself what the actual truth is. That's my rant for the top of the show. There's a small round of applause. There's small pockets of rounds of applause going off everywhere. A big round of applause too to Moose, if you're watching from hospital tonight. Moose has been in hospital now for at least the last week and a bit with some quite severe pneumonia, and I do believe they're going to be in hospital for a little bit longer. So from us to you, darling, hope you're feeling better soon. Without further ado, I've ranted and raved on too long because I'm so excited that we are relatively ad-free, except for our own. Talking about our own, we have one of our own in the studio tonight. He is quite the remarkable and very humble human being. So please charge your glasses, be upstanding, and as we present the one, the only, Noel Delmo. Darling, hello. Look at you. Mwah, mwah. Ooh, that was a bit cheeky, Pat. Please, pull up a seat.
Thank you, and thank you for having me on.
Oh, thanks for being had. You're amazing, aren't you?
I don't feel amazing, I just feel me.
Oh, well, yeah, I get a lot of that too.
That's my time.
Your special time. Noel, just a few words about yourself. You're quite loved by the Ballarat community. You're a bit infamous, but you do so much for us.
Yes, well, I try my best to do what I can. So, yeah. And I mean, that's part of being in the community, is to do what you can, whether it be little or lots.
Amazing. And we're going to find out more about that as we move through the show. But a bit that I haven't told you about is that we have a pre-recorded segment at this end. It's called the Lance TV Artist Corner. Oh. And tonight, our special guest, Dr. Sophie, is bringing us Lochlainn Heley, who is a wonderful editor and writer. We will be back with more right after this.
Well, hi, thanks for having me. My name is Lochlainn Heley. I am a writer and editor based in here in Victoria, kind of jumping from Ballarat to Melbourne, doing writing, doing editing, yeah. So my avenue of craft, I would describe as speculative eco-fictions, trying to define that rather than write it is a bit difficult, but the best way I can describe it is stories of ruin, toxicity, climate change, mutation, metamorphosis, change, identity, even gender. Speculative fiction has always kind of been in that pool, that sort of melting pot, that big cauldron of craft. But recently, or fairly recently, there's been a kind of a new surge of eco-fictions, which is stories of climate change. Has really changed up the genre. Well, kind of genre, and made it sort of what we call a super genre, sort of encompassing many different genre forms, so fantasy, sci-fi, magic realism. When I first found out about Arboreal magazine and when they were doing their debut issue, I was planning to submit a piece to them. This was before I became one of their associate editors. So I pulled up some inspiration I had from a tutor's book that was sort of about waste and ruin, and trying to think, okay, how do I write with wasted things? And then came the original prose version of Mushroom Girl. That piece didn't end up getting accepted, but I did end up becoming an editor for the magazine, which was great. Later on, I realized that this prose version I still loved, but it wasn't totally done yet. So I went on, thankfully, with the mentorship with an amazing comic artist and lecturer and academic, Elizabeth McFarlane. She kind of, in this course about comics and writing comics and editing comics, she taught me how to work with comics, and I ended up adapting the prose version of Mushroom Girl into this comic. And that was amazing. That experience was amazing. So Mushroom Girl is a story about a woman who can digest trash and wasted things like a mushroom, but finds the one thing she can't digest is the conversation with her boyfriend's friends. I guess the best way to describe that is kind of a magic realism story, but it's also, for me, kind of quite speculative, trying to think, okay, how do you write waste? And then with the comic, how do you draw waste? I'm not a drawer. This comic was my first stint into comics, into drawing, but it was amazing to kind of reimagine Mushroom Girl in this version, because there were so many ideas and so many plot points that revealed themselves in this new version. So yeah, that's where Mushroom Girl came about. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. That's where I post a bit of my writing and also my editing. It's Laneway Editing. I'm really proud to have started that. It's sort of where, yeah, like I said, I've been posting some of my editing work and some of my writing work. As an editor, a lot of my job is working with people to get their submissions competition ready. So getting their short stories ready for an anthology and all the stuff like that. So that's been really fun. Recently, you can read my latest work in a magazine called Soft Star Magazine. There you'll find a piece that I published a while ago in as a student with the student magazine, and they accept a reprint, so I'm very proud to have it out in the world again. My 2 cents, find friends. I would not have gone on to be a writer if I didn't find writing friends, and also frankly editing friends, people whose opinion I trust and whose thoughts kind of occupy my own thoughts right now. Whenever I think of what joke I wrote what bit of dialogue someone would find funny, I think, oh, my friend would find that funny. Or when I think of a cool idea, who am I entertaining? I'm entertaining people I trust and people I love and people I care about. That kind of goes on to finding magazines you trust and finding publishers you trust. Who are you writing to? Who you're writing for? Usually it is, yourself. You are the person who you write for, but often I find I really enjoy writing for a person, someone who I can entertain and give them something novel.
If you're interested in participating, email us at lance.artist.corner@gmail.com.
Sometimes I just need to yell and scream and jump all around. Sometimes there's an animal inside of me and it comes right out when I'm feeling scared and angry. There's an animal inside of me and it comes right out when I'm feeling lost and lonely. Oh, whoa, whoa. Oh, whoa, whoa.
When I was your age, I would have been happy to be eating that much poo. Okay? Now come on.
Sometimes I don't wanna brush my wild hair. Sometimes I just need to swipe around. Sometimes I just need to get my feet right off the ground.
Welcome back. You're watching Let's TV. I am Lance de Boyle, and I'm sitting here with the very wonderful Noel Delmo. Darling, did you find your way here okay?
Yes, thank you. Great instructions.
Fantastic. Now, Noel, we're at the part of the show where we're going to begin the interview. Are you ready?
I think so, yes.
Consent is everything. Darling, we've been doing the show 7 years. I won't go into any long drawn-out interpretation of that. But suffice to say, our first question always has been, where were you born?
I was born in Carlton, Melbourne. Yep.
Yeah? Like most people from Melbourne, I guess?
Yeah, I guess so. The Royal Women's Hospital, so...
But you weren't actually raised in Melbourne per se, were you?
Oh, well, until I was 5 years of age, and then my parents went to the country, and I spent all my life in the country, basically, until I was 18.
So is that correct to say, now correct me if I'm wrong, if my memory's wrong, you went from Melbourne to Shepparton via Queensland?
Via Queensland.
Tell us about that story.
Well, my father was a mechanic, and he got a job in Queensland, but he didn't like it, so they were journeying back, and of course there's 7 children in a caravan. we broke down in Seymour, and then we had to get transported to Shepparton because he had a friend who lived in Shepparton who offered us a house. So we were stuck there for a good 3 or 4 weeks. And as a result of that, because my mother was an asthma sufferer, she found she had no asthma attacks. So they decided to stay there. And so I was brought up in Shepparton.
Wow. And what do they do in Shepparton? Like what's the pigs or like?
No, it's
wheat?
mainly fruit.
Oh, of
Agriculture.
course, SPC.
SPC, yeah. But there are dairy farms
no
as well.
sponsorship, of course.
There are dairy farms there as well and other agriculture. It's very diverse now, I believe. But yeah. But so I spent my youth, I guess, in Shepparton, which I quite enjoyed. But it's very different to the city.
Yeah. And you were one of 7 children?
One of 7 children, yes. 4 boys and 3 girls.
Amazing.
Girls, yep.
And do I remember correctly that you said you were the 5th?
I am the 5th child, yes.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah.
From Shepparton, you went, that's all been good and well, but you sort of packed your bags and
I did.
moved off to Melbourne. You ended up working with what was then known as the CES,
Yes.
the Commonwealth Employment Service.
Yeah, that's correct.
Talk to
yes.
us about that.
Well, I got a job in the employment services with the federal government, and that was mainly just being a clerk to this office, which was enjoyable, and it sort of opened me up to a whole new lifestyle in the city, which I started to explore, which was quite good.
Amazing. So as we were talking prior to the show, we've kind of pegged that you are actually somebody who has been of service to your community for a long time. And even going back to before you left Shepparton,
Yes.
you were involved with was it the Young Lions
The Young
Club?
Lions Club, yes.
What did you do there?
Well, our main objective there was to help the elderly. So we would go into their yards and mow their lawns, clean up the yards, remove any rubbish and stuff like that, because they weren't able to do it. So it was a little sort of sidearm. But there were other little functions that the Young Lions Club did as well, but that was the main one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's a community sort of effort. So.
Yeah, so it was, so I mean, I didn't even know there was a thing called the Young Lions Club.
Yeah, I don't know whether it exists now, but I'm pretty sure it probably does.
So cleaning up gardens and yards? And
Yeah, and just helping out the elderly on chores they couldn't do themselves, basically. Yeah.
And do you reckon that's your first memory of actually being of service to somebody outside of your family?
I think so, yes. Yes, that would be. Because prior to that, most of my life sort of revolved around the family, as most country people do. Yeah.
And I found it really interesting too when we were kind of setting this up, and I was saying to you, like, what about it being service to your family? And you were like, no, that's there was no question, like that was just a given. It was
Exactly.
just part of the fabric.
Exactly. Yeah, well, you did. You just did what the family did and accepted that. Yeah.
Times have changed a bit though, haven't they?
They have, yes, certainly have. Yeah, very different now.
Yeah, amazing. Well, what we might do, we might just take another short break just because we can. We are running with some Festival of Australian Queer Theatre promotions. Lo and behold, we get to share these with you. Normally we would be sharing them on Facebook, but right now, here's one for you.
Let me tell you a secret.
Welcome back. You're watching Lance TV. I am Lance de Boyle, and still sitting here with the one and the only Noel Delmo.
Thank you.
Very exciting. Thanks for talking about your historic self. At 17 and a half, you found yourself signing up for the armed services.
That's correct, yes. That was the Royal Australian Mechanics Institute.
Why did you figure that was a good idea at the time?
Well, at the time, my father was a mechanic and he wanted me to sort of man up. So I guess he was pushing me to be like himself. So I joined RAMI, and
What's RAMI stand for?
RAMI is Royal Australian Electrical Engineers, and that covers mechanics as well as engineers. And it was great. It was very enjoyable as a young man because you worked on cars, you worked on all sorts of vehicles, leopard tanks, you drove Big Mac trucks. So it was a whole range of things that you could be involved in. So I enjoyed it, but then I moved back to the country, and the only depot that was close to me was the medical corps. So I ended up joining with those, and I became part of the medical team of the army.
Wow! So you went from tinkering on vehicles to tinkering on
bodies.
people.
Yeah, exactly.
How much tinkering on people did you end up doing?
Oh, it was just a nursing role, basically. You had what they call an RAP, which is a regimental aid post. So anyone would come to you with an issue. It could be a personal issue, it could be a medical issue. You'd have to treat them and then refer them on to doctors or surgeons if they needed more.
So it was a bit of sort of a triage sort of...
Like a triage, yeah, very much like a triage, yeah.
Yeah, right.
So, which was interesting because, you know, in the medical field, you've got to treat everyone with privacy. So even if they come to you with an issue that they didn't want to tell their commanding officers, you weren't allowed to pass that on.
Yeah,
so
right.
you had to respect their privacy, which was good.
And how did that work for you?
That was fine. I didn't have a problem with that. No, you did get grilled quite a lot by the officers, but you just stood your ground. You know, because you had to. You know, you're in the army. You've got a team of people. They've got to trust you. You've got to trust them. So you know, if you give away information that they didn't want given away. You know, it'd be a whole different ball game.
Wow! So they were trying to sort of pull information out of you, knowing that they shouldn't be trying to pull information out of you.
Yeah, they'd always be trying to get information on their members.
That's amazing. There's something that we didn't know. Wow.
I don't know what purpose they were using it for, but you know, it could have been personal. It could have been
just intel.
Intel.
Yeah.
But,
you were with the Army 9 years.
That's correct.
How did you find that? How did you find being part of an organisation that at that time wasn't really a fan of rainbow communities?
No, it wasn't. It was very homophobic. So it was difficult. You had to keep your sort of head down and tail up, as so.
Oh, of course, darling. Of course. Well, how else would you do it? No, but anyway, back to you.
Yeah, but it was very difficult because, you know, there was the military police that would be coming after you if they thought that you were at all inclined to like men or play with men in your unit. So everyone was very much sort of on their toes most of the time. Yeah. So, and there was a lot of bashings as well. You know, there were people who assumed others were, you know, queer and would take it out on them.
And that was beyond a hazing sort of, that was a targeted?
That was targeted, yeah. You know, they'd go to the showers and then they'd be attacked or something like that.
Wow.
And those reports would never go through because, you know, the army just didn't want to acknowledge it.
And while you were with the army too, in amongst all that, that saw you going back to Shepparton, didn't it?
It did, yeah. I ended up going back there with another job. So I used to travel around the whole northern part of Victoria, and that saw me doing a similar sort of role, but in another health sort of field.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So is this the one where you were sort of like doing dairy and
Yes,
dairy and what was it? Dairy and
honey.
chickens or something?
No, dairy and honey.
Dairy and honey. Yeah, honey is an interesting one.
Quarantine role, and so we had to visit all the dairy establishments and honey establishments and make sure they are meeting the health requirements. Yeah.
How do you, just out of curiosity, how do you meet the health requirements with honey?
Well, honey is very important because it can show you, when you do samples, of all the pesticides that are in the community. Because the bees pick up the pesticides when they collect honey, or the honey from the flowers. So if farms have been using pesticides on their crops, it will show in the honey. So by monitoring the honey, the government could work out whether there's a serious risk to the public in terms of the amount of pesticides in the area.
That's amazing, and that shows up in milk as well. Is that what you?
In milk, they do similar sort of testings, yes, and they can test.
Wow, there's a conversation we didn't have before the show. Yeah. No, that was really interesting. I didn't even think that, you know, and of course, you know, you should think that way. Like whatever you're eating is eating something else, and what's on that something else is going into you.
And those grasses that the cows graze on are usually treated with phosphates or other things. So, you know,
wow.
Yeah. So, yeah. And also you've got world health requirements in terms of standards for certain products. So Australian product that's been exported out of the country had to meet those standards.
Yeah, right. Tick in the boxes,
Tick
KPI.
in the boxes,
Yeah.
And that includes labelling as well as, you know, the actual what's in the product.
Amazing. In 1990, or I have to look at my paper, yes, 1996.
Yes.
You sort of went, I'm kind of done with that. You got the gold watch or however that worked itself out.
Yes.
You moved to Bendigo and you opened a cafe for LGBTIQA+ people.
That's correct, yes.
Tell us all about that.
Well, there was nothing in the area at the time. The gay community there was very much underground. So I decided to open a cafe and provide a safe space for that. And that was good. We had a good turnout. We had some drag shows upstairs and some other events there. So we got a good turnout. Most of it was supported by the local community as well as the queer community.
Heaven. Heaven. And you were there, what, 3 years? What was
3 years
the name
I ran the it's called Cafe Torso.
Of course it was. No. What else would a gay man call his shop? Cafe Torso.
And the reason it was called that is because I approached the fine arts students at the Bendigo University. They had nowhere to display their fine art drawings that they would do in their course. So I gave them the option of using the rooms upstairs and the shop down below to display their artworks on the wall.
So you became a gallery as well?
A gallery as well, yeah. So.
Oh, look at you.
But it worked both ways because they would bring their customers to show their artwork, and of course they would buy cakes and coffee. And we'd have opening nights and get 200 people to an opening night. So, yeah.
Amazing. And also, while you were in Bendigo, you got involved with community radio?
I did, yes. That was a local community radio. And we used to run a show on a Friday night called Absolutely Fabulous.
Darling.
And that went for a number of years, so before I moved. So yeah, we're enjoying that and had a good support and good following.
Amazing. Amazing. We're going to take a short break.
Sure.
And when we come back, we will have some more of the very lovely Noel Delmo. Right after this.
liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Welcome back. You're watching Let's TV. I'm still Lance Boyle, and you're still Noel Delmo. No.
Last time I checked, I was, yes.
That's what it says on the back of your shirt. Just
Right.
double check. Noel, more recently, and when I say more recently, in the last 14 years, you have taken over as admin for a gay camping group based in
correct.
Victoria.
Yes,
Do you want to talk to us a little bit about what the name of that is?
Yeah, that's called Active Gay Camping, Victoria.
Active?
Active.
What do you mean active gay?
Well, active, we don't just camp. So we go away and do our camps, but we also do historic visits. We do wineries, we do bushwalks, we do scenic drives, we do four-wheel drives. So we're active in terms of from the time we land at our campsite to the time we leave, which is usually a general weekend, Friday night to Sunday. We are actively involved in doing things.
Right, so it's not just a static group on Facebook, it's like
exactly
rally the troops. Now, when you got the page originally,
yes,
there's a few hundred people on it.
There was only a couple of hundred people on it when it first started. And I got involved and I enjoyed going away with these groups of people. And then it sort of stopped all of a sudden and I wondered why there was no more camps. So I kept sending a few messages and the admin was done by the New South Wales camping group at that time. And I got a message back saying, well, if you're so interested, you take over.
And you don't have to tell me twice, said Noel.
Exactly. Well, I was quite shocked at first because I thought, what do I do with it now? So then I thought, okay, well, if I've got control of it, I need to look at making it more involved and delivering back something for the community. And that was all about making people feel bonded and connected.
Why? I'm a little bit curious. Why do you do that?
Why do I do it?
Yeah.
I think it's just me. I mean, I think maybe that's my upbringing. I was the fifth child in the family, so you had to share, you had to be, caring to your other siblings. So maybe it's just a natural part of my outcome.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. So you've been running it now for 14 years?
Yes.
From a couple of hundred to how many?
We've got 3,500 now.
Don't. Don't.
Yes, yes, and they're right across Victoria. So we not only got city people, but we've got country people. So when we do a camp, we arc across Victoria and we do a camp nearly every month from September to June. And during that time, wherever we are located, we get those members coming to stay and be active. So the camps are always different, the people are always different. So it's always enjoyable.
Very cool. Now it's called Active Gay, like we're taking the word gay.
Yes.
Is it only a group of gay men? Like who can join?
No, anyone can join. We've got trans people, we've got lesbians, we've got straight people, we've got bi people, we've got gay people. I guess the gay terminology stems back 14 years ago when that was sort of like a term that was used before all of the queer and the LGBT sort of terms came into effect. So we haven't changed that. But yeah, anyone can join and we welcome anyone.
And age group?
Well, we get people from 20 years of age up to 70 years of age. We don't have an age limit as long as they're over 18 years of age. But it's all about your ability to get to the camps, and some of our members will provide transport if you ask them. And it all depends on what you want out of the camp. Some people like to sit around and just relax and chat. Others want to be engaged in all the activities we do. So, it suits a big range of age groups.
So you've been running the group for 14 years?
Yes, yes.
And how long were you a member of that before you took it over?
Probably about 2 years.
All right, so you've involvement with the group 16 years.
Yeah.
In that 16 years of arcing back and forth across Victoria, what have been some of the most memorable places to have been? Like, where are the most beautiful places?
Oh, look, Victoria's got a whole lot of beautiful places, and a lot of people don't even know. And there's so many free camping sites throughout Victoria. I guess we sometimes we do themes, like the last camping season that just passed, we did lakes and rivers. So we were focusing on lakes and rivers. They were always on a lake or they're a river. Just out of Ballarat here at Lake Burrumbeet, there's a beautiful big long camping spot, which is lovely in the summer. The year before we did waterfalls, so we're going to waterfalls, areas that were waterfalls. We had the Grampians, we had Newgie, there's lots of areas that have got beautiful waterfalls. So
Where's Newgie?
Newgie's in Gippsland.
I thought it was Gippsland because
Well,
I don't know this word.
Just above Pakenham.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's quite close to
It's
Melbourne
close to the
CBD.
city, yeah. I mean, one of our things that we do is we don't go any further than 200 kilometres from the city. And the reason we do that is we try and keep the camps at an affordable level so everyone can do them on a monthly basis. So we don't have fees for the camp, we don't have membership fees. All our campsites are free because we use state camps. And we try and keep within a range of 150 kilometres so that people can get back to their pets if they need to. We do allow pets if the campsite allows it. But we try and keep the cost down, so we work in a range of a zone. But it works well for us.
Amazing. All right, well, we might go for another break, and when we come back, we will keep chatting with the lovely Noel right after this. There we go. There are some people in the thread. Hello to everybody on Facebook. Howdy folks from Wombat and Goose present out of the can. That's a jamboree. We're having a laugh, guys, because when Noel was telling me about going for a big sort of camping thing with gay people, I said, oh, it's a gay jamboree. So you've echoed what I said earlier tonight without even knowing, unless you've been in my phone. But if you are watching and are looking forward to finding some short Australian films on television, I think midnight is the time for you, Wombat and Goose, to watch some wonderful, beautiful short Australian films. And speaking of which too, the Poco Film Festival's on here in Ballarat at this time. Don't know if you knew that, boys, but there we go. Yeah, so we're just on Facebook right now.
Right.
So how have you been enjoying the interview thus far?
Yeah, very good.
We're not really on Facebook. We're here with you too, Channel 31, but that's neither. It's neither here nor there. No, this is what happens. This is what happens in the background when you're watching the ads.
It's intriguing, the studio and what goes on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice word.
Yeah.
No. So in fact, it's the nicest word anyone's used to describe the place. It's intriguing.
Well, it's not every day that you walk into a studio, so, you know, it's all very interesting.
No, you need to get out more.
I do, yes. Been out in the bush camping too often.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, so have you found the show so far, though?
I've enjoyed it, yeah. It's been great.
Yeah? I'll leave the money on the fridge, Noel. That's hilarious. Let's play the short little ad again. We are spruiking the Festival of Australian Queer Theatre, and here's a short ad that I made earlier today.
Shh, let me tell you a secret.
And there it is. So if you are inspired to see some wonderful queer Australian theatre. Ballarat's the place in 3 weeks' time, and you can go to the website www.faqt.au. There we go. We have so much spare time. What we might do is, Soph's in the bio box laughing, going, yep, we sure do. This is what happens when we are left to our own devices on Channel 31. We just, just shoot the breeze, what are you going to do? Shall we do a stinger and come back in, Soph? Sure. Soph made those as well. Dr. Soph made all of those little stingers, and they all relate back to something to do with Ballarat.
Oh, okay.
So there used to be some delivery place here that had a pig's head. And
Oh, was that the pizza place?
was it the pizza place, Soph?
Pinkies.
Pinkies, yeah, Pinkies.
I remember seeing the pink head.
And the Greg carton of milk or whatever that is, that's a Ballarat.
Oh, never
chocolate
seen
milk.
that one. No.
Like Soph's just holding her face now, going, no, whatever. Oh dear. So what's happened is we normally we are able to kind of meter our time, but because we're ahead, we have to now paddle a little bit. So this bit all gets chopped out in the in the last of it. But I tell you what we will do. I tell you what we will fill things with is to say thank you for being on the show. Here is the tiny pride bag. That's
Thank
for
you. Thank you.
There is the Festival of Australian Theatre volunteer handbook for you.
Thank you.
And this framed photo of me saying, I was on Let's TV.
Well, that's fabulous.
That's for you.
Yep.
There you go. Thanks for being on the show.
Well, thank you.
No, thank you.
It's been great.
Where are you going to put that photo?
That's a good question. Well, I'll have to go.
I know I'm in the little house at someone's place in Ballarat.
Are you? I have got a little house.
I've
but
been to their bathroom. It's a bit unnerving, me watching myself over my own shoulder.
No, we won't do that. We won't do that. I'm sure we'll find a wonderful wall to present you.
Fantastic. Put it by the letterbox. You'll never get a letter again. No more bills.
That'd be good. No more bills.
Go. If you are watching us on Facebook, you can find us on Lance TV Ballarat on Facebook. Drop us a message. If you've got a message or something, a comment that you'd like to make to Noel, I will gladly ask that question on your behalf. So there you go. Just thought I'd throw that in there too.
Sure.
You recently, you're saying that you're working on your house at the moment?
I am, yes. I bought a nice little two-fronted terrace home here in Ballarat, and I'm renovating that, trying to bring it back to its original condition.
Wow.
I want a sort of period style, because it was...
You're a bit of a jack of all trades, really, aren't you? It's,
Yeah, I guess
you've
so.
tinkered with cars and you've tinkered with people and you've shuffled paper and you've made food and you've been on the radio.
I like being...
And now you're tinkering with a house.
Yes, and it's not my first house either. I've done quite a few homes. But this one I'm enjoying because it's in one of the oldest parts of Ballarat. I think it was the first suburb of Ballarat.
Wow, what, Bunningham?
No.
They originally said, no, don't you know your history, Lancey? No. I remember years ago I was out at Bunningham and they were saying that originally when this area was first kind of colonised, that Bunningham was actually going to be the original capital or the original spot.
Suburb. Oh, okay. Well, that may have been the case, but...
But they found more gold here in Ballarat, so they went, oh, here's better.
Yes. Well, Golden Point was where they found gold, and that's where they built the first town hall. So that was the first suburb of Ballarat.
Is that building still standing?
Yes, but they moved it. The old wooden one, they moved up onto, I think it's Barclay Street.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's still there. but it's not in the original place it was originally.
Just fudging history again. That's what white people do. We just fudge history the whole time. Take a house from there and put it over there and go, look, this house was here the whole time.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. So, and I found a cellar under the house, which I thought that was quite
Any old
remarkable.
bottles of red?
No, it's full of rubbish at the moment, so I have to empty it. So
What are you going to do with the cellar? Are you going to put a few bottles of red in?
I hope so. Yeah. There's lots of fruit trees in the yard, so I'm hoping to make some preserves and put them down there. And
Bit of a cold store.
yep, there's an apricot tree which can make a nice apricot wine. So that'll go down there. So
Look at you. You like just the more I talk to you, Noel and I have known each other, I guess, for probably about at least 5 or 6 years.
yeah, it'd have to be.
But we've never really had an in-depth conversation before. So I always get amazed when I have people on the show that I know of, but I kind of get to meet while we're on the show.
Yes. Well,
But yeah, you're like onion skins. You just keep unfolding.
That's
so I'm
probably
quite
true.
curious about your recipe now for apricot wine.
oh, it's easy to do. It's only fermenting of apricots, basically.
So you don't even have to put sugar in, just apricots, water and yeast.
Oh, you need a little bit of assistance in that area, but it's more like a liqueur when it's done, because it's quite creamy. It's not like a normal wine. It's just more like a liqueur, but it's quite strong.
Wow.
So, yeah. And I bottled olives before. I had an olive tree when I was in Bendigo. So I'm going to plant an olive tree and get that going again.
Amazing. What we might do, we're going to go for another ad break. And when we come back, we'll be in the last stages of the show. We'll see you right after this. We hope you enjoyed our interview with Noel Delmo. If you'd like to find out more about the group, head over to Facebook groups and find Gay Camping Victoria GCV Ost. Lens TV will be back right after this. Welcome back to Lance TV. You're in time for everyone's favourite segment, All Over the Shop. The 3rd of August at Swanpool Community Centre, they're playing Kinky Boots as part of the Pride movie night, and that starts at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Also on the 3rd in Balan is the grand opening of Flack PTO Art Gallery. That starts at 1 o'clock. The 4th of August, Malden TEDx is happening. The lovely Sally Goldner is one of the people presenting at the Malden Vintage Machinery and Museum. On the 7th of August, you can make your own pet rock, and that's happening at the Community Hub, Marupna Park Primary School. It's a free event, get yourself along. On the 10th of August, Saturday night Dungeons and Dragons at Good Games Ballarat. That's an ongoing thing on Saturday nights. Great little space, very inclusive. On the 16th is the Bendigo Writers Festival 2024, and that will be at the Capitol Theatre starting on the 16th at 9 o'clock and going for a few days. Ballarat Autism Fest is happening at Ballarat Neighbourhood Centre on the 25th of August from 10 till 3 o'clock. There'll be face painting and all sorts of things. 14th of September, Monique Brumby at the Brunswick Ballroom. It is a retrospective. If you haven't seen Mon live for a while, there is your chance. The 15th of September brings us PopCon 2024 at Ballarat's Pop Culture Convention at Berkeley Square. It's a free event. It starts at 10 o'clock, finishes at 4. The 17th of September, The Bride of Frankenstein and The Invisible Man, both made in 1933. Shepparton's second annual Queer Film Jamboree, and that's at Go TAFE. Our dear friends at TBH Studio, we haven't said that name for a while, is a zine fair on the 21st of September, and that starts at 10 o'clock and goes through till 2. The 9th of November brings us Carnival Day at the Queen's Gardens, Saturday the 9th of November from 10 till 3 o'clock. And yes, Queen's Park Moonee Ponds is happening on the 30th of November. That starts at 1 o'clock, goes through till the evening. And of course, for those who like to put things in their diary early, the 2nd of February, Midsummer Pride March 2025. Get there, Fitzroy Street, and see you back in the studio. And we're back. There we go. That was perfect. Just as we came back, our floor manager Cheryl went, "This camera!" No, it's perfect timing. Noel.
Yes.
You and I had a little chat before the show, and you did pass comment about in your time in and around Ballarat, how attitudes have changed in this regional city with regards to LGBTIQA plus communities. Do you want to reflect with me on that?
Yeah, definitely. When I first moved here, and that was back in 2007, it was very much underground. There was no services, no connection at all, and we didn't even have sort of the sites we've got on phone apps then that we have now. So there was very little going on in the community. A lot of it was word of mouth, but it's great to see that has changed. It's spun around, and now we have events happening here. We've got the festivals happening, Frolic, a few other queer events going on. We had the queer market not long ago. So yeah, it's great to see that it's all sort of coming of age.
I am of the understanding, I think it's the City of Ballarat have said that the population is about 114,000,
Right.
and about 11,000 of us are from the LGBTIQA plus community, so about 10% of the
10%.
population.
Yep, that's pretty much the standard, isn't it, in most cities? It's about 10%.
I think it's pretty high for regionally.
Oh, for regionally, definitely. Yeah, definitely for regionally, yes. But, you know, it's great that the council is actually recognising the LGBT community and doing something about it. I went to an opening not long ago. With
Anyone I know? No, just thought I'd ask.
And the mayor was there giving a speech.
Oh, well, so there was somebody I knew. No.
And Catherine King as well. So
Yeah.
they were all there supporting the community, and it was quite remarkable, really, because I felt for the first time in Ballarat that actually belonged to that community.
Wow, and that was just, how long ago was that?
That was only a couple of months ago.
So it's the first time in your whole time here
Yeah.
that you actually felt, you know what, this is okay.
Yeah, because they were being recognised, and it was okay, and you're sort of getting it from the top level down. You know, the mayor, the member for parliament. So it was very rewarding in that sense.
And I know this is going to be a crazy question, but you know, for those who might be watching who don't know, why is that important for us from your point of view?
I think it's important for your own self-esteem, because for many years I think a lot of people have lived their life in the dark, so they're not proud of who they've been. So having that recognition and having the mayor stand up and the member of parliament saying, you know, we recognise you, we understand you, and being genuine about it, I think it just opens you up. It just takes that weight off your shoulder. You know, you don't have to feel that you're, you know, looking around all the time and trying to cover your tracks, which is what a lot of people have done in the past.
Well, you've had to for your own safety,
For your own safety, exactly. And unfortunately for Ballarat and other regional towns like Bendigo and stuff, there's been some really nasty sort of history in the past, and that still hangs over today. But I think by having these public events and having these open debates and discussions and support from larger community members, it gives that sort of sense that, no, it's okay. We can be who we want to be. And it's time for us to shine.
Amazing. Thank you for that, Noel.
That's right.
On another note, on Facebook, I learnt about a friend of mine's passing today. So I'd just like to, if we could have the slide please, Soph, for those who may have known Destiny Rogers. I knew Destiny when I lived up in Cairns many years ago, and I think I even posted on that post. Destiny was definitely somebody who had a fire in her belly and a razor wit, and sometimes she would use one or the other, and sometimes she would use both, and that was quite amazing to see. Quite amazing to see her politely but humorously cut someone to pieces. So the world is a little bit darker without Destiny in it. So we just wanted to acknowledge her passing at the age of 64. On that note, we are going to wrap up the show now. So I'd like to say thank you to Noel Delmo, who's been ever so gorgeous to be on the show tonight. Look at you. Oh, you.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank the crew and for tracking along the way we have. Thank you to Channel 31 for moving heaven and earth to make sure that we could reach out to everybody on the other side down there in Melbourne. And we will see you again next week. But, as I say, between now and then, remember, be kind.
Thanks for watching Lance TV. We'll be back same time next week. Lance TV is made possible through funding from the Community Broadcasting Foundation. I'm voiceover guy Randall Smith. See you next time.